Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today for the Discipline Therapy Podcast with your two incredible hosts, Miss Suhey Sotomayor, and with me always, Mr. EL Discipline. Before we get started, you know how we do. I have to give you little updates and stuff. There's a link in the description on how to become part of our Patreon family and subscribe for exclusive content, bloopers, behind the scenes, Mr. EL Discipline's solo lectures of discipline therapy talk, his BDSM content, erotica posts, and writings by Mr. Discipline. Then there's also collaboration shows pertaining to other sensitive topics such as sexual abuse, rape, domestic violence, transgender, children abduction, conspiracy theories, government conspiracy theories, and more that we both host. Once again, that would be on patreon.com/, the Discipline Therapy Podcast. Also, we have Mr. EL Discipline's books. He has 7 published books. They're available on Amazon, barnesandnobles.com, Kindle for electronic versions as well, and much more. The link is in the description for that video, under the video. We also have our online store merch. That's at disciplinetherapy.launchcart.store/shop. Me too, me too. We always have some new gear. We have some that just hit. You want to go check that out. We have different categories. And last but not least, we are on major listening platforms in case you can't come onto YouTube and watch the show visually. We're on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Deezer, Castbox, Overcast, and much, much more. So before we jump in to the season 12, episode 125. You know how we do. I have to clear the energy. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, the shirt, sometimes a night in is better than a night out for the people who are just listening to us.
And mine is getting a dose weekly of discipline therapy.
All right, talking about dose weekly of discipline therapy. Y'all know y'all fiends and y'all know what that means. We're serving you your dose weekly of discipline therapy where not everything is completely free, as we are on patreon.com/the discipline therapy podcast for a plethora of exclusive content for you to see. But what is free is judgment free, sucker free, censor free, sensitive free, and some liberty. God and the ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, popcorn, or my favorite roll of blunt, but make sure the children are in bed. Why? Because we have that soul food and sometimes vulgar conversations. Prepare your mind to be fed light. One up, inhale life, and exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned into the Discipline Therapy Podcast.
We're
Right
here. All right. So we have episode 125. Is it harder for men to control their desires or women to control their emotions? And we have a part 2 to who handles rejection worse and or better. All right. So we're going to start with that, with the part 2 for the relationship. Rejection in a marriage.
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I think an example of rejection, maybe in a marriage, I think for women, if their husbands and or boyfriend, significant other cheats on them, I feel like they feel like that's a rejection. Like, why? I feel like they think, why am I not good enough?
Mm.
I mean, I guess that could be anyone, man or woman, just anyone who gets cheated on. I think that would be seen as some sort of rejection. What do you think?
Yeah, it depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the person. Rejection can be the man wants sexual intimacy from his woman, in whatever capacity. Doesn't necessarily mean penetration. Could be other things. You
Mm.
know, flirting could be oral. She might say, "Oh, I'm tired." You know, maybe those dynamics both work. "Oh, I'm tired. I put in a full shift. I
I
have
have
a
a headache.
headache." on your period, monthly cycle, menstruation. That could be rejection. We talked about earlier. Maybe the woman also wants the man to engage in something she's passionate about. Rejection could be
Mm,
not supporting his dreams, not supporting her dreams, not
yeah.
believing in him.
Or talking down to them.
So all those could be seen as rejection in the relationship or marriage
Yeah,
dynamic.
I agree.
Yeah. So just some examples going into the part two. And then how you handle that. How
Yeah.
you handle it. Could be part of that emotional intelligence, having it
Mm-hmm.
or the lack of it.
Which is probably that.
Also, um, communicating your needs and desires. That hurt me. Maybe you could come to a medium, some
Mm-hmm.
type of congruent stance where they can negotiate. Some people would say compromise and negotiate are synonymous, so they could
Mm-hmm.
compromise. Okay, I'll do something you like, and then next week we do something I like,
Mm,
or this one time I'll do this, um, and then because you always do what I want.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So that could help. It's just a lot of things could be um, figured out or come to you know
An
come to a
understanding?
medium and
Mm-hmm.
understanding of just with communication, active communication, understanding, acceptance.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree with you. I think though some people, I feel like mostly females are um, scared to be, more honest and open, especially with their feelings. Because I think that we think if I'm honest about it, well, because there are guys that will be like, "Oh my God, why are you complaining?" You know what I mean? So you have to know yourself. You have to know, your partner that you're with. Also, can you? Are you able to be honest and and open? Maybe not.
Hmm. Depends.
Yeah.
Depends on the man. Depends on the man. Depends
Hmm.
on the woman. Um, so not all men will do that, but
No, not all men.
maybe based off your experiences
Hmm.
with past or
Or
whatever.
hearing stories también.
Hmm.
Hmm.
All right, so let's get into the topic now.
Let's do it.
All right, so the topic is is it harder for a man to control their desires or women to control their emotions? Part two.
That's a
Okay.
part two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we did a part one. Um, we bought a Ticia
Hmm. Oh yes.
Mexicana.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it harder for the woman to submit or to get the man to commit? I know this was a bullet and another topic, and I think it was across the board. Everybody said it's harder to get the man to commit.
Mm-hmm. You
Um,
still agree with that?
100%. We don't like to name drop, but we see. I know I do. I see it on on my Instagram, on any of those celebrity platforms. How so and so got they broke up because he got caught cheating or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely, I think it's harder to get a man to commit than it is for a woman to submit.
Yeah. So yes, and I think it's I always talk about this. This goes beyond what we understand.
Hmm.
Men are in control of commitment and relationships. So,
How
um,
ironic, right? That the men
mhm.
are the ones in control of the relationship and commitment, and they don't want it. And but the women are like, no, no, give us the commitment, but we're not in control of that.
Yeah, men do want it. Men do want it. Maybe down the line we'll talk about this term. There's a
Yes.
term called passport bros.
Oh
So
yeah, I've heard
men
of that.
men do want it. Men haven't changed. They're still traditional. But they're just kind of looking at it like, man, this is what's out there for me.
Mm,
Like I'm gonna spend my money and provide for this woman forever, and this is what I'm gonna get.
yeah.
So they do want it. It's just depends on the woman. Um,
We got to
so
get the group of women that are looking for those traditional alpha guys
mhm,
with those guys who are looking for the traditional woman too. Like
mhm,
they keep missing each other.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. Is it harder? Like, yeah. So, yeah, the man controls commitment in relationship. You always see it, even if we don't research this. Women always asking, "What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going to eat? What are we?
Am I
Where are
your
we
girlfriend
going?"
now? Yeah.
Titles, stuff of that nature. When are we gonna get married? We know time and stuff of
Oh
that nature.
yeah.
And this is I've heard this stuff from like vanilla or
Yeah.
conventional relationships. Doesn't go on like this in BDSM. So, I've heard that. But, it doesn't go on like that in BDSM. There's an arrangement. So they already know what titles, where we're going, stuff of that nature, right?
They don't have to guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the man kinda makes the move, where they're gonna go. So I think that's why it's hard for them to commit. It's easy for women to submit, especially today. So many options, social media. 20% of men have access to 80% of women. And what do I mean by that? Dating apps, social media, stuff of that nature. More women are in colleges, especially today. Education. They're out there now. They're not in the house.
You said it's easier for women to commit nowadays or harder?
Did I say that?
I thought you said easy.
Submit. If I said that, then
Submit is
I
what I meant.
apologize.
It's easier for them to
So
submit
submit. Yeah.
nowadays more
Because
than
of
like.
that, and
Yes, I agree with you.
because
Yes.
of those things,
Mm-hmm.
access, like more men have access to women, and plus, women are as sex crazed as men now. Maybe not. Maybe more.
Yep.
Maybe more. And so a woman submitting, in the most profound way, like sex. She's looking at as empowerment. I can fuck whoever I want.
Mm-hmm.
She's looking at that, well, I'm gonna get pleasure too, but she's not aware that that is part of her power.
Yep.
So that's a prime example. Um,
Or maybe she's confusing that power. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
hmm Also, submitting is certain men you're still allowing to court you. Like you kind of know he's no good or whatever, but he brings one or two great qualities or benefits to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So you continue to allow it. That's submitting,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot easier for women to submit
I
than
think
it is
so
for the men
too.
to commit.
I feel like if they especially if they had a good relationship with their father, once they find a guy that like you said, even if they have just one or two good qualities, they're going to feel more comfortable just being like, okay, I'm just going to be with this guy.
hmm Yeah. So let's see. Who is more likely to? Yeah, you're right about that. You're right.
Thanks.
Who is more likely to take accountability in the romantic relationship dynamic?
Who is more likely to I'm going to go with a man.
By
Who is more likely? Mm, I feel like okay, so I feel like when a man gets caught cheating or something like that, at the end he'll be like, okay, fine, yeah, I did. My bad. I fucked up or whatever. But I feel like a woman will continue to not take like if she gets caught cheating, I feel like it's gonna be yeah, but I did it because XYZ. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like giving excuses instead of saying, you know what, you're right, I did, and for whatever reason, whatever. That's fine.
yeah, I also think that the men will take more accountability because more pressure is on him. And even if he does, the woman will force him to. Most women. Most women will force him to, like, man up, or, this is what a
Mm,
man's supposed to do, and this and that. Like, if neither one of them are taking accountability, he will, because he might have to say, okay, let me shut her up now.
mm.
I'm sorry, even if it's phony.
Like just to make her be quiet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make her happy.
My
So
son used to do that to me. He would just yes me to death. I'd be like,
yeah, so he might take accountability for those reasons, like, oh, let me just whatever. Plus, society holds
mm,
men to a high standard, to women to a low standard.
yeah. Now
So
these are, you know, uh more alpha men, right? We're talking about because I know different guys that do not take accountability for nothing.
Mm.
But I know that there's a lot of times when we talk about that, and I'll bring up, oh, but what about those types of guys? You always say those, and I don't even consider them men. So I'm just
Yeah,
trying to clarify here, people.
yeah, yeah. Those are like males. You were born that way.
Got
Then work on
you.
yourself. You're incompetent, stuff of that nature.
Right.
No, it's all men.
Okay.
Doesn't matter the tier. It's all men. So
Mm.
like I said, it might be phony.
Mm.
He's taking accountability because she's kind of holding him accountable to take accountability. So let me do it. Let me shut her up. You know,
Mm.
blah blah
Okay.
blah. Like whatever. She keeps talking. Let me do it. Oh man, look, hey, it's my responsibility to take the garbage out. I don't want to hear her talk. I'm gonna do it. Da, da, da. Like, so
Yeah. Okay.
he's you know, he's the man and most likely to take accountability because there's so much pressure for him to take accountability. Less
Mm.
pressure for women too. A lot more men won't really make women work for things. Um,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Apologize and stuff of that nature. They always get away with things.
Like
Even what they say.
speeding,
Mhm,
when like driving and they're
mhm,
speeding, they
yeah.
could get away with that.
Yeah, even what they say to men, it will always be, "Oh, but women are sensitive. Oh, but women are emotional."
Mm.
So they'll always be given a pass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. So are more women fighting submission or less men inspiring submission?
Ooh, this is a good one. I think I think both, but if I really had to pick, because I know you're gonna make me pick,
Mm,
I think more women are fighting submission. And I think more women are fighting submission because we have so much more, like you said, women empowerment. You have other women telling you, saying things like, "Ugh, you're gonna let him talk to you that way? He's not your dad. He's not your parent. You're gonna let him. He thinks that you can just um that you're just gonna listen to him. You have a mind of your own. You make your own money. So that's why I feel like women are gonna fight it more because they don't have that empujo. Oh my god, how do you say it in English? That
the
support.
Con, con,
That support from other women.
mm, I'm gonna say that drive. Mm. Um, but let me see. When I look at this, instinctively, I think less men inspiring submission.
Wow.
However, when I really take time to look at this question, I agree with you.
I
And the
also
reason
think men, but more women.
and the reason is personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I've done all the right things in my relationships currently, being especially more healed now than I was in the past. Um,
Well, that's important.
even back then, even though I was a little more toxic, but I was still doing the right thing. Um, I've had women that, oh, I've used the drill before, but I'm present. You're not doing that. So the
Mm.
male chauvinist is present in the relationship dynamic. Oh, those heavy groceries. I'm not letting you do that. Oh, you're a little short on your rent. I got you. Pay me back when you can.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's nice.
Not keeping score. You're my woman. I'm not keeping score. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna clock you. Oh, last week you owed me this amount.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Done all the right things as a man, led, guided, protected, um, made them climax. So all these things I've done right as a man, been there. They're crying, they need solutions to problems, calm them down.
Mm.
All of these things are unappreciated. It flies over people's heads, but I've done it. Um, and those women have still fought submission.
Mm.
They've cried, "Oh, I want to give you my all, but I've given my all to this person or these men in the past, and I got nothing in return. I trust you, but I don't know." So they're clearly fighting submission. When
Mm-hmm.
I'm inspiring that, like, why are they doing that? Trauma. So more women
Definitely.
because of trauma. I'll piggyback off you. I agree with all those things you said, and I'm gonna expound. Trauma,
Mm.
an
Definitely.
accumulation of bodies because every time a woman gets a new body, she's pair bonding. So it's
Mm.
like if she has a lot of bodies, it makes it hard for her to be present there. If she has an array of male energy around her too, constantly people in her DM she's interacting with, males outside she's interacting with while she's in a relationship, how can she give her all?
Mm.
So these things are also a problem. These things are also making her fight submission, and on top of feminism and stuff of that nature. But let's say America, because this doesn't go on in different countries.
Mm,
Most of the women have the similar mentality. You might have a few out of the bunch who think differently, but most women have similar mentality and they hold other women accountable. If
mm,
they're out and they're doing funny shit, that wife will hold that stranger chick. What are you doing? You're a woman
that's
in
true.
those different countries. But in America, it's like, oh yeah, girl, do that. Empowerment. Fuck whoever you want. Do that. See-through dress, booty cheeks. I love it. Ass looks so nice. Encouraging more
Mm,
bad behavior. Contributing to it more.
that's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? Nowadays, women don't want to listen to men because they are hurt by men. So fuck what men are saying. Everything they say is misogynistic. But if women are saying it, maybe we'll listen to it. But the first thing they will do and say for those women that are saying that is, you're a hater.
I was about to say
You're
the same thing.
probably, why do you hate women so much?
You're
What do you
jealous.
do? You're jealous. You don't. You're probably single, ugly. You probably don't get pussy, dick like that or whatever. Like they're gonna throw constant shame
Mm-hmm.
words and come to a certain narrative to build their narrative instead of taking accountability. They're gonna blame. They're gonna think something's wrong with them women. Who got you fucked up? Who? Why you think? Why are you so crazy? Why are you? Who put a spell on you? Like
Mm-hmm.
they. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So all of this stuff is making women fight submission. You
Definitely.
understand? So more women are fighting submission because there's so much things out there to help them fight it.
Right.
Engineered products, government, all those conspiracy theories, guys in power, women, feminism, television shows, music, all that stuff,
Everything. Yeah.
everything.
Everything.
So the man coming in has to combat all those things. So like I said, I speak from experience, and I know some men that dealt with this. Even the man doing the right thing, he's even consistent, hasn't lied and stuff of that nature. They still will struggle.
Mm,
I'm not saying all of them have, but a few have. That's why
right.
I'm speaking from
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
All this stuff, the character of a man should be the reason why the woman submits and has her submission thrive. That's like science and biology, going into the fundamentals, the
Mm,
basic. But it's not. It's not anymore.
mm.
It's not anymore because modern women have transitioned from the traditional ways. So it's not anymore.
Well, they're still submissive, but
So
to more material things,
yeah, so
money and
that's
shit like
that's
that.
why the good guy is scary.
The
You
good
see?
guy scary.
Yeah, the good guy is scary.
Why? Because he wants the girl to
Because
submit.
because because women have so much trauma, everything that I mentioned.
Right. But why
You
is
know what
the
I'm
good guy scary?
saying? Because the good guy's healthy. And everything that's out there is toxic. So remember, the toxic bad boy is actually comfortable. Even though I'm gonna get fucked up there and not be present and stuff of that nature, but I'm getting certain pleasures.
Mm,
It's comfortable. I know what I'm kind of getting. The good guy, in a way, is healthy.
mm.
Remember, it's very rare to find the good bad
Bad
boy.
boy. Mm-hmm.
That's a oxymoron, a rarity. But the good guy is unhealthy. I mean, in their mind. You know what I'm saying? The bad boy is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Because that's
But
what
it's
they're
the
used
opposite.
to. Right.
Yeah, so the thing is, if there's so much things out there in the world that is toxic, and then you meet toxic people, it's just comfortable. It's just natural law.
Mm-hmm.
So people out there who are thinking more of these people have conspiracy theories, but are they theories if they're true?
Right.
These people they're weird. They're crazy. You see the difference?
Mm,
The healthy is crazy, the woke is crazy and stuff of that nature. But the ones who are still sleeping and stuff of that nature and toxic, nah, they're good.
mm.
They're normal. So it's the same thing with the good man and the bad boy.
Definitely.
So the good man, yeah, he's doing all the right things, but mm-mm, like I'm scared. No, I'm not gonna give my all.
Mm,
So the women who have even the women that I've been with who have struggled, they were the ones that had the problem. They were the problem. They
mm.
were unhealed. I was never the issue in that sense. The only thing I took accountability, episode 21, the menstruation. I took accountability for that season 3 premiere. You're like, how did he do that?
Always.
I took accountability when I said I compromised too much.
Okay.
It was I was like kind of
Like back in
concealing
the
the lion.
days?
I was concealing the lion.
You're talking about how you were back in
back
the
in the days.
days.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Compromise too much. So I lost. That's me taking accountability. Nowadays, anybody entering my life, it will never be my fault if it ends.
Okay.
Never.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Because everything's already on the table. The ball in it, the ball. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
ball
balls
is
in
in
their
her
court.
court
Exactly. Yep.
when I put everything on the table. So whose fault is it when they're acting up down the
Yes,
line?
100%.
Especially if he's remaining consistent.
Mm-hmm.
They're unhealed. That's what I'm talking about. So it's very hard for the woman to submit with everything around her. Even, and you know the closest thing? Her family and friends.
Could be telling her, yeah, that's
It,
a good guy.
no, could be
No.
saying, what are you doing there?
Mm,
Like you were saying earlier, you
yeah.
make your own money. Why would you subject yourself to that type of relationship?
Yeah.
You're stupid. They're gonna
Right.
shame. They're
Yeah.
gonna do this. No, go out more. It's summertime. You've been
Mm-hmm.
cooped up all over the place. You're not talking to your friends. You deactivate your social media. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have more options. Don't put all your eggs in that one guy. What if it doesn't work out? See all the negativity they're putting out into the world
Mm,
and then
yeah.
feeding their mind. And because a lot of women are weak, right? Only the divine feminine, the queens are strong. They do not conform to the ways and other people.
Mm-hmm.
The women who are wounded feminine are so weak that they listen to what those women are saying because women are not followers by nature.
They're probably also insecure with, if especially if they have the trauma, like you said,
Yeah.
they're probably insecure or question their own like judgment. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So they're gonna believe what those women are saying to be right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Until it blows up in in her face, and she's like, "Fuck! I should have never listened." Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know the
Well, a lot more
saying.
people are not looking in depth like that because they're not looking at those women who are giving them advice situation. Like you haven't had a man for the past 5 years. You haven't been able to
Maybe
keep
they
a man.
should.
You haven't been able to keep a man for the past 5 years. You're giving me advice, or the woman, you wear the pants in there. He's
Yeah.
the beta, you're the alpha.
Well, some women like that.
And that's what I'm saying. She's giving you alpha
Yeah.
advice.
Right. She's giving you the wrong advice. It might not
Yeah,
fit
for
with the
failure.
person you are.
And
Yeah.
like I know you're not happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know you're not happy in them. They're listening to them.
Well, you know what? I feel like it's also, that saying, you're, I always get the freaking sayings wrong. Something like you're comfortable with the devil,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yes.
It's something like that, right?
Yes. Versus going out there and finding
Right,
the
and
devil
something
you
that you
don't.
don't know. And
Stranger.
the good guy
Yeah.
is the devil she doesn't know. She
Yeah.
knows the bad boy.
That's why most of the time, and we'll jump back on topic, most of the time when the women end up getting played by the new person or oh my god, he ended up cheating or whatever. That's the only thing he did that was bad or whatever. They go back to the ex
Yeah.
because they're like, well,
Instead of getting a new body.
yeah, it was like, but not just that. It's more looking in depth. The like you were saying, the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I thought this guy was it. He ended up doing this.
Right.
I might as well go back to the old devil. And he
Mm-hmm.
knows everything already. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
start over. Now I'm gonna be thinking all men are like
Why
this.
start
So
over? That's a big
so I'm
one.
gonna be thinking all men are like this. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
start generalizing. So I might as well just go back to the one that I know.
Yeah, especially if she left the original one, got with a new guy, and that guy cheated on her too.
Mhm.
She just left one for doing it. She got another one that he did it.
Yeah,
She's just gonna automatically think it's just gonna keep on happening.
facts. So if women are fighting submission, which we both agreed they are, is that an emotional thing or logical thing?
Emotional,
Yeah,
100% emotional.
it's an emotional thing. And we don't need to expound or explain. We said everything prior.
Mm-hmm.
Why it's an emotional thing. The more logical thing to do would be submit.
Mm.
That's a more logical thing to have proper discernment. At the end of the day, you can't submit to anybody. You have to have the proper spiritual discernment to know who you're gonna bond with, who you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
give access to, and okay, he's worthy, and I'm gonna submit there.
Yep.
And then now you're making the right choice. That's the logical way because submission is actually power, and it's surrender is actually freedom. That's the irony. It's not
Mm-hmm.
confinement. The woman who's fighting submission and being alpha and stuff of that nature, that's slavery.
Mm.
That's confinement. That's the irony.
Yeah.
Okay, so do men have to control their desire for their women to be more submissive, or women are controlling their emotions from being submissive? Which one is more? So both is happening, but which one is more? Women are women controlling their emotions and fighting submission,
Yes.
or do men have to control their desires for their women to be submissive to them?
I think the women controlling their emotions from that's stopping them from being submissive.
Men have to control their desires more. That's what's happening more.
But if guys cheat, are they really controlling their desires?
N- no, but I'm looking at it on a sense of that's sexual desires.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it on a sense of everything because it's specifically the operative word is submission. I said their desire for the woman to be submissive. Every man wants their woman to be submissive to a degree to
Okay.
them.
Right,
So
but would a man then still say, okay, I have to
so
control my desires for it?
yeah, yes, because the thing is, so much stuff that we talked about prior in the world, man, I can't step in there. She already makes her own money. We're connecting. She makes her own money. I can't step in there and just tell her what I want. I'll just I'll just listen to her. 50-50, equal, equality. He has a desire to lead. He has a desire to be in the masculine role, not us both being in the masculine role. He has a desire for that, but now he doesn't open his mouth. Now he's just passive. You see what I'm saying? So he has
Yeah.
to control his desire for his women to be submissive. The women don't have to control their emotions as much because when they're horny, that's when they want to be submissive. The hardcore feminist could be horny behind closed doors and is like, daddy, 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 all the time on her knees, but she would never do that publicly. Why? She's not controlling her emotions. She's horny. So her emotions take over.
Yeah, but you're going
Crying
back
for the,
to you're going back to sex though.
crying for the guy. Oh, this and that. Don't leave it. But she'll never say that publicly. She'll, yeah, strong women, independent. But she's crying to the nigga. She's running after him. But you'll never see that part. She'll talk about how she was in that relationship for so long, but she'll never say why.
But isn't that what I'm saying? Like they're controlling their emotions from being their emotion. Wait,
They're not control. In my opinion, they're not controlling their emotions.
they're just
More,
letting it.
more women,
They're
more
letting their emotions take over.
yeah, more women are actually submitting.
Okay.
Because there's not a we didn't put anything specific. We're not say sexually submitting, mentally submitting, emotionally submitting. We didn't say all that. If you're
Mm.
giving a lot of men access to you, you're submitting.
Yep,
If
that's
you're
true.
you see what I'm saying? It's not specific.
Yeah,
It's general. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's not, oh, you opening your legs, just that.
Right, right, right.
They're doing a whole bunch of stuff which they're unaware of,
Yeah, I was
which
gonna say
which is
that they're unaware of it too.
yes,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is in direct conjunction with submission.
yeah. They probably don't think having sex with all these guys is being submissive. They
Yeah.
probably think it's the opposite. They're being more. They're controlling the narrative on it.
Because they're like, oh, I want dick when I
Exactly.
want and stuff of that nature.
Exactly.
No, they're submitting.
Yeah.
Just because you're like telling him when and where,
Doesn't
are
mean you're
you
not.
are you gonna be there with a whip? I said this in the show. Are you gonna be there in a whip? Are
You
you
don't
gonna
know.
be there dominating him? Are you gonna be in the submissive position? So just because she's saying when and where, the masculine is still giving the feminine sex.
That's
So
true.
she's submitting. So more men have to control their desire. They have to like take a lot of shit. Yeah, oh man, okay. Let me. She's bitching right now. All right, I'll submit.
Mm, like
I'm not gonna get nookie
happy
tonight.
wife, happy life.
Happy wife, happy life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's submitting more.
All right.
You
That
know what I'm
does make
saying?
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love versus lust. After sex, who is likely to control their emotions, men or women?
I swear these questions are so like tailored to
Trickery?
no,
Like
not
it's trickery.
trickery, because it's obviously men can control their emotions more.
They can't?
They can,
Okay. Why?
because I think women, if we get like that really good sex, especially if you a haven't had it in a long time, or b it's like just the best that you can remember. Of course, you're gonna be like, all right, what do you want? You want to keep him happy so that it can keep coming around. It
Mm.
could keep happening
A
for you.
lot of women build their relationship around that.
Yep.
So I'm gonna jump into further because I never got a chance to talk about this to an
Oh,
extent. But we
okay.
got time tonight.
We sure do.
I said this in episode 116. When the relationship fails, who's to blame? They always blame the man or whatever, but who's to blame? The man or the woman?
I was gonna say it depends on who you talk to.
So I said women don't get caught 'cause men stay in their place. I didn't get a chance to elaborate, but like I said, we got time. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here's a scenario. A woman is married. A woman has a boyfriend. She tells the man, okay, I will fuck with you on conditions only. There's stipulations involved. And that man wants the box. So he's going to submit to whatever type of demands she has. He says, I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, my man's very controlling. He's jealous. He checks my phone, da 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 da. From 9 to 5, I work this time. We can text. I have my phone with me. When I get home after 5, it's just like business operation hours. Bye bye. If you call me, you're going to get tone. You know what tone is?
Dial
Dial tone.
tone.
You're going to get the voicemail. So don't call me. I'm going to get in trouble. Because that man might care about that woman and her safety, because women are more at risk than men
Mm-hmm.
for cheating, especially in that sense. He's going to say, I'm going to protect her and I'm going to follow that. 1. 2, he wants to keep getting the box. So he doesn't snitch on her. He stays in his place. Women don't get caught cheating. Why? Because niggas stay in their place. Women, this is the woman now getting emotional. The man is married. He's a high value, high caliber man, whatever you want to call him, right? Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
2 women, multiple women, whatever. Very desirable. He's married. He has a girlfriend. He sets the claim. Yo, listen, blah 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 blah, da da da. Don't do this. I'm whatever. Maybe he lies to her and says, "Oh, I'm gonna leave my wife. I'm gonna leave my wife. Da da. Give me time. Don't call me after 6." In the beginning, she says, "Cool."
Right.
Now the dick gets better. On top of that, he's not just giving her dick. Maybe trips,
Mm-hmm.
private jet. Da, da, da. He's wooing her. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, "What? I don't want to just be a side
Now,
chick.
now she's getting
I want
greedy.
more." Now she's getting emotional. She doesn't stay in her place. Fuck the 6 p.m. thing. It's 6:15.
Mm.
He takes a shower, like the situation with Dom and Sophia.
Mm.
But that wasn't that situation. It was just, oh, I got a meeting right now. He doesn't lock his phone. She forgets her keys. Dom, Dom. But he's in the shower. He can't
Mm-hmm.
hear. She sees the phone on the bed. Let's talk about a situation like that because this is real, even though I made it fiction.
Yeah, yeah, no,
So the
it
guy
happened.
goes take a shower, doesn't lock his phone, or maybe she knows the password. She opens up his phone and sees a picture,
Mm.
sees
Or
text
text.
messages.
Yep.
Oh, he left his Instagram open, Facebook, goes in the DM. Who the fuck are these bitches? He gets caught
Mm.
because the woman or women couldn't stay in their place because they were emotional. So that's another reason after great sex, who gets emotional and who doesn't. The men are not emotional. They're like, okay, I'll protect the blah, blah, I'll follow the terms, this, that. He's not getting emotional because all he cares about is the box. The
Mm.
woman cares more about the sex. The great sex is the catalyst to a lot of great other things. So she wants to actually be more than that. So she doesn't stay in her place. Fuck
Mm.
his wife now. Fuck his demands. She gets more dominant. She's like, yo, I'm calling him after 6:15. He says, don't call the house phone. The bitch calls the house phone. And
Which
the
is
wife, well, hold on, don't cut me up.
sorry.
The wife picks her up. Who is this? "Oh, hello, hello, is blah, blah, blah home? Who is this? Hello, I'm his wife." He gets caught because the
Mm.
woman can't keep her emotions in check and she can't stay in her place. See, more niggas stay in their place. That's why women don't get caught. More women don't stay in their place and they get emotional, which is why a lot of men get caught. But women cheat more. They're just better at it. They're more sneaky.
I never understood how you worded that. Like, why do men get caught more? It never clicked until you explained it completely here. Like, he doesn't just get caught because he's not being careful. He's getting caught because the woman that he's cheating on his mate on his wife with is blowing his spot up. Oh, and guys don't do that to the
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
my mind is blown.
Yep.
But you know what doesn't make sense to me? Like the side chick. Do you really think that if you blow up his spot that he's gonna be like, all right, I'll take you then? You know what I mean? Like, don't you think that he would be
They're
mad at
not
her?
thinking logical. Remember, they're emotional.
I mean, I would
That
be thinking logical, like, well,
Yeah,
he
but
might get
most
mad.
women, most women, when they're horny, angry, whatever, they're not thinking logical.
Yeah, they
They're
must
thinking
not be.
emotional. That's why they might say things they don't mean, whatever, just out of that emotion. It's a neurological reflex right away. So the reality is, um, more women will cheat in this sense, but they don't get caught.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? More men will get caught and they stay in their place because they can control their emotions. The women can't, especially great sex, because that induces a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
for
They get
women.
greedy.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I always tell men out there, like, listen, I'm not gonna lie and tell you to stick with monogamy like other people or relationship coaches will. Meanwhile, they're poly and they're lying.
Mm.
I'm not gonna say that to you. If you want to live poly, fine. Make sure you have that one or two who will really ride or die. And don't put those women in positions to be embarrassed publicly. Make sure the women that you're fucking with know, yo, this, that, do certain things. Because if even if you fucking with side chicks or whatever, make sure they're assets, not liabilities. Those
Mm.
women who can't control their emotions are obviously liabilities. They're breaking up happy homes now.
How happy could they?
Custody battles and shit.
Oh
Is that
yeah.
fair for the children?
Mm-mm.
So at the end of the day, you still gotta pick the right side chicks. you, s-
Men, come on.
you see,
What are you doing?
that's what it comes down to. Don't pick women who just blab all the time, who go on shows and talk,
Yeah.
that
Don't
don't know
just
how to keep the private.
yeah. Don't just go for
Those
them
are
just because they're pretty and beautiful.
Yeah, those are tests too.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a scenario. After an intense argument or resentment is present, the woman may stop doing her duties she promised she would do, or even throw gender roles in the trash during this time. He wants dinner or sex. She's not going to comply. Who is or may have to control their desires, and who isn't controlling their emotions?
Um, you know, I watch a lot of movies, and in some of these movies, the men do it too. I'm gonna go with women.
Okay, so who is or may have to control their desires, or who isn't controlling their emotions? Um, so
Women are
I'm gonna
definitely not
hold the women
controlling.
accountable and say the women aren't controlling their emotions. However, the truth of the matter is the men have to control their desires. Remember, a lot of people aren't really into in BDSM relationships like that, whenever, wherever, however.
Mm.
They're like, you're not doing your responsibilities, I'm holding you accountable. A lot of men just take shit, eat shit. Oh, you're good right now, you're tired. All right, whatever. They let things slide. A
Mm.
lot more men do that,
It's true.
versus
It's
holding
true.
them accountable. But me, I'm gonna hold the women accountable. What's going on is they're not controlling their emotions. Why? Because at the end of the day, due to anger, right? Both parties, men and women, you're in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
If the man is really who he is, even when he's angry, he's still gonna be consistent. He's still gonna provide. She's lesser sex. Something could happen when we go out. I'm still gonna protect her. I'm
Okay,
upset, whatever, but it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna protect her. He's still gonna do his due diligence. However, the woman can pick and choose.
that's true.
Who's
I
not
hate to say
controlling
it.
their emotions? The woman, because she's not thinking logical. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
no,
saying? In that moment when she's angry, fuck dinner being on the table now. Make your own shit. She's
that's so
angry.
true.
She's not controlling her emotions. I don't have to engage in my wifely duties anymore. Fuck that. You made me mad. I'm angry with you, so I'm not gonna do my job. You see? The man can be angry at the woman, but still do his job,
Mm.
still be consistent. The woman can pick and choose. And this comes down to also the man or men out there, specifically men in their woman's life who's not holding her accountable. There
Mm.
are consequences to you not doing your duties.
Like what?
That I'm gonna take things away now.
What?
Okay, maybe they don't get a divorce, but he's taking things away and he's telling her. So now I'm forcing you to now get back in your duties because I'm taking things away. So by forcing you to get back in your duties, I'm also holding you accountable and making you hold yourself accountable.
Can I ask you a question?
What?
Because you said that you do hold your subs, the women in your life, accountable when they do that. How do you? Can you give like an example? Like, what do you do?
I
How
find
do
out
you
what
do
they
it?
like.
and they and
and I take that away.
also, but that's like not punishment, but that's like correcting them.
Yeah, that's part
Mm,
of punishment because
mm,
I punish emotionally and psychologically, not
mm,
physically. So a lot of women like violence. Oh, he's just gonna bend me over and spank me. Oh, that's gonna turn into some rough sex. Oh, I'm getting a reward.
mm,
So the reality is like that's not gonna make her grow. It's not gonna make her hold herself accountable.
right.
So okay, you know that our dynamic is if you're present, you're cooking. So if you don't plan to do that because you're upset with me, well, guess we're not gonna have long conversations today. And I'll tell them, well, guess I'm not giving you dick. Okay. If you want, you can
Mm,
masturbate, but I'm not giving you dick. All right, I'm going out with the boys tonight. I'll see you later. Now you don't get my time in my presence.
mm.
I'll go to my other girl and get food from her because you ain't trying to do that.
Jesus.
And I'll let them know that. So now they're like, oh shit, he got somebody else? I gotta get on my job. Cause maybe he might leave me. So
Huh.
it's like, but men won't do this. They'll just take it. They'll suffer. See, and now it
Well,
continues. It continues. The bad behavior continues. Every single time she gets upset or emotional, she knows that she can punish him.
yeah,
And
that's
he
true.
will take it like a
Yeah,
bitch.
that's
He will
true.
take it. And there will be nothing articulated between them. Like, yo, I don't like the way you would do it. They can't communicate. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a nonverbal thing.
It's almost like
She
a
will
tit for tat.
communicate more.
Mm,
Hey, baby, I came home. I thought dinner was gonna be no. Make your own shit. And she clearly upset. It's like, yo, can we talk about this? No, we ain't talking about it.
mm,
You see, she makes the rules. So, but where did that come from? It comes out from the man being lazy, not setting a stamp, putting a stamp on something and building a structure for her to constantly follow. Because remember, it's just like the brat. She sees no consequences, so she's gonna keep going. She's gonna keep going.
mm.
You give her an inch, she's taking a mile. Fear, anger, joy are the most powerful emotions. This is from life coach class.
Okay.
Desire is a strong wish to do or have something, which involves not only a linguistic expression, but also an underlying cognitive phenomenon driving human feelings. A conscious desire is often accompanied by a range of emotional responses. Do you get this?
No.
Okay, so desire is a strong wish to do something or have something. I'm going to break it down. You agree?
Yes.
So it's not just like a verbal or human speech. It's not just expressed, but it's like mental.
Okay.
It's like you're aware of it, inner, conscious, spiritual. That's driving human feelings. It's a conscious desire that's accompanied by a range of emotions. So, for example, if a woman comes on a date with me and
Okay.
we met through in person and she has my social media, she's studying me. Maybe she books a flight to come see me. She didn't just meet me the first day and say, oh, I'm booking a flight the next day. It built.
Okay.
So whatever she's doing to study me, listening to my voice, seeing how consistent I am, did I ever lie? Sexual activity. Oh, he's a dom in BDSM. All of these things are a buildup. Remember, accompanied by a range of emotional responses. Her brain,
Mm,
her vagina, her physiological state, chills, whatever, it's all working. And now that desire is pushing her body to move.
it's getting her higher and higher.
Yeah, that's what this is.
That makes sense. You should be a teacher.
So, fear, anger, and joy are the most powerful emotions. These emotions can also cloud judgment.
Oh yeah.
You
What
see what
about
I'm saying?
love?
Love is
I
in and
think
out.
love can cloud judgment.
It can, but love is in and out, I believe.
Mm,
Love, you need more components than love to keep that love flourishing constantly.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Women and men can fall in and out of love. And it could even be during an argument. She doesn't like you right now.
Mm-hmm.
She hates you actually.
Mm,
But if she respects you and trusts you, that love will constantly flourish
that's
and
true.
keep building up.
Damn, you explained
She'll
that shit real good.
she'll never call you out your name and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
What drives desire? Lust, curiosity, hunger, or thirst.
Hold up. Are you asking which one of these drives desire, or are you saying what drives
No,
desire,
all of
what
it.
drives lust, what drives
Yeah,
curiosity,
it's all in a bubble.
what drives it? You go first.
Okay, because I was just about to say that. Let me go first, and then I'll trigger something.
Yeah, because I'm like you though.
Our senses, what we smell. Because you smell that nice food.
Agree.
Smell nice. Now that triggers desire. That triggers curiosity. That triggers hunger, thirst. Someone, another person, the way they look, the
The
way
way
they
they smell.
sound,
Ugh,
the
the
way
way
they
they
sound, the way they smell. An activity. Oh, that looks nice. Roller coaster, amusement park, BDSM.
smell. Mm. Okay.
That looks nice. Graphic images. Our senses. Some of us have 6, 7 senses, but the basic 5.
You're good, man.
What we touch.
Mm-hmm. It's
Maybe some
true.
people are into pets.
It's so
Oh, I
true.
love pit bulls. You know, they get a bad rep. They got a bad
They
rep, but it's how
do.
you raise them.
Yeah.
They got a bad rep, but they're really nice, soft, and sweet. Like you petting him, and it makes you feel good. You understand what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
Like you have a soft place in their heart for them,
Both of them.
for them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe cats. I don't know, animal
Love
lovers,
cats.
right? So it's our senses. That's what I
Mm.
believe triggers all these.
And it makes so much sense. I agree with you. I'm gonna jump on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So think about it, right? And I said this in a show I did myself when it was discipline therapy talk before it was on Patreon visually.
Mm.
I asked female guests, I said, what would a blind man think about you? Because he can't see
Mm.
you. So what would he think? He can smell, he can feel, he can sense maybe energy, because remember,
Mm-hmm.
one sense is shut, the other one's enhanced. So
Yep.
what would the blind man think about you based off your conversation, but the something that he can't see you though?
Mm-hmm.
And knowing men are visual creatures more than women,
Yeah.
so he can't see you, what would he think about you? Would he still love you? Like, what would he think
Oh
about
yeah.
you?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. Like
Yeah, totally.
with our senses, this is what is the catalyst to driving our desires.
Mm. Definitely. I agree with that because it doesn't matter who, man or woman. If somebody smells good, I instantly am like, I'll take a big whiff and I'm like, ah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. You smell good, that is a plus, man.
So can women love someone without physical touch or desiring them physically? Can men
I
also?
think women can, men, I don't think that much.
And this is why
Oh,
be-
because I mean, okay, I could only go by me. Um, can women love someone without physical touch or desiring them physically? Yeah, because when I was with my children's father before I had my kids, he did time, and we obviously couldn't touch, and it was just for a few years. Obviously, it was just talking, so it wasn't physical. It couldn't be physical.
I'm listening. I'm just multitasking.
I mean, and that was on my part because we couldn't. He obviously couldn't because he really couldn't. He was in jail. But a
It's like a
woman,
long distance relationship.
exactly.
But
But
a woman, you said,
that's what I'm saying. A woman can do it. Like I chose to do it. Does that make sense?
yeah.
I wasn't in jail. I chose to do that. He kind of had to do that,
So yeah, it was.
right? I
So the
surprise myself sometimes.
so men are physical, women are emotional. This is
Right.
also how we kind of um, you know, operate with the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
More. Men not you understand what I'm saying? This is like the basic how we operate with each other. Maybe how we display our love.
Mm,
So women could easily do that. They're more emotional, they're more psychological. Like they could build that off of conversation.
mm-hmm.
It takes a special man. Don't put me on the list. I'm on a different tier. But it takes a special man to have long hours conversation with you. A lot of men can't do that today,
No.
even if they're busy. It takes a special man to be able to love you emotionally and psychologically because we weren't taught how to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
You understand what I'm saying? So women, that's their power. They're a nurturer.
Mm-hmm.
But a man who can balance his feminine and his masculine can do this.
Yep.
It's a handful of men.
As a man who knows himself very well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's common for women to love someone without physical touch or desiring them physically than men because
Definitely.
it's the nature.
Mm-hmm.
So men have to like branch out of their nature, you know what I'm saying? Get control their feminine energy because we're born with both. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
Control their feminine energy to be able to now love the woman in that sense as well, while
Definitely.
also loving her physically and sexually and stuff of that nature, providing and
Mm-hmm.
all that. You see?
Yeah.
So a woman can't love a man physically too long
Why?
because it's not in her nature. I just broke it down. So
No, but
she's
why not
providing
too long?
she's providing for the guy. You know,
Mm.
paying bills, protecting him, physically protecting him. She's gonna wear out. At some point it's gonna be like, baby, like, come on, I helped you make that resume already. What's up?
Right. You
Like
take
get
care of
on
me
your
now.
shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like something happens when they go out and she's always there, protecting him in the line of fire.
Mm.
Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like at some level, maybe those butch type women highly in their masculine, they don't even know. Femininity is not even in their vocabulary. Maybe those women, because those are masculine women.
Oh yeah.
Those are those manly women. Maybe them, but the reality is, a feminine woman she gonna burn out. She gonna even complain
Yeah.
that she's doing
Definitely.
all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why can't I get any help or whatever?
I
I'm
was
always
just gonna
doing this.
say help.
She gonna complain.
Yep.
So she can't sustain that too long. She not built like that.
That's what you meant by physical. I got you. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So the man, at the end of the day, even him, he will sustain that for too long. Like, I can't be in a long distance relationship and we just talking for months and I don't see you. No, eventually I'm gonna want to rock or it's done.
Mm. Yeah. Or while
She could
he's
be,
waiting,
sh
he's doing somebody else.
yeah, but she could be having me. I'm different. I like to engage with everybody. So eventually it's gonna happen, girl.
You're like, here you go, here you go.
Yeah, eventually it's gonna happen. Like if we're in a
Serving
poly
number 3.
relationship, if we're in a poly relationship, it's gonna happen. Like I'm not just keeping you here for conversations. I'm not a friend zone guy.
Right. So if you're
You know what I'm
talking to
saying?
someone, it's because you see a future with them, or you're
Yeah,
trying to work on one.
yeah.
All
So at
right.
the end of the day, baby, no disrespect, but I don't need your conversations. You need my conversations.
Oh,
So I'm giving her everything she likes. Stroking her mind, making her wet from a distance or something. But what about what I want? I want to physically see you. I
mm,
want to be in your presence.
mm,
I want to engage physically, maybe sexually. So now it comes down to I'm giving 100, she giving 20.
damn.
Cause even she could be submitting like, oh well, I'll cut dudes off, I'll do this, I'll obey, whatever you say, I'll do. But she's still not giving me full because she's not making time.
Got you.
You see, so at some level, like I fall back and I let them know.
Mm,
And I put it down. Like I don't go ghost like most guys. I let them know what's up. You're not doing this, that, ABC. This is what I need. So I mean, I'm gonna have to release you or something, or something's gonna change. Like I let them know. So
wow.
ultimately, not even a man can do that too long, but a woman can
Yeah. A woman sure
because that's
can.
in her nature.
I think also she might
Especially
feel safer that way too.
and especially because it's not common.
What, a
So if
man?
something is not common and you're getting it, it's like, oh my God,
Like
like
conversation and all
yeah,
that
it is,
shit. Yeah.
you know, this is just making me get back into my femininity.
Mm, yeah, definitely.
That they can love a man from a distance because you touched all those parts before sex.
And that's the scary part though for them. Maybe that's why they they extend. Let's wait until we meet each other still.
Mm,
Let's wait because they feel once I have sex, that's it. It's
it's a wrap,
over.
yeah, because you're already touching all the
Yeah.
major components.
They want to keep that
It makes sense.
as long as they can.
That isn't that manipulation?
Yeah.
Mm,
But okay, here's a question for you. Who's the better master manipulators? Men or women?
women.
Yeah,
Mm.
there it is.
And it takes the man being in a
Feminine to be
divine
able to
feminine.
pick
Pick up on that.
Yeah, most guys don't.
That's why they stay in the friend zone. Don't worry, baby, I'll be here. Even if you need me to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
They're scheming though. They don't mean that. They're doing whatever to get the box.
Exactly. That's which is why the chick is holding out. It's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Okay, so I found this article fascinating. So I put it on there. I'm gonna
Okay.
put the article on the screen for the YouTubers and for people that are listening to us, they get to hear. So www.brainline.org. BRAINLINE.org. Managing intense emotions. It was said that the hardest emotion to control is anger. Anger weakens your ability to solve problems effectively, make good decisions, handle changes, and get along with others. Now, I say this because I want to add when you're horny or inebriated, drunk or high,
Mm-hmm.
that does the same thing.
As what? As oh, it blocks your
Mhm.
reasoning and all that stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
High.
now that can lead to like one night stands,
Mm-hmm.
unplanned pregnancies, walking away from a partner who you know is the healthiest for you, quitting a job when you have nothing lined up, dealing with people who are always getting in trouble or unreliable. Meanwhile, your plans are to elevate in life, and you're still doing that.
Mm.
Paying for OnlyFans membership. Meanwhile, as a man, you're overweight, and you should purchase instead a gym membership and start eating right.
Mm-hmm.
See, y'all dudes that do that or in this situation are worried about the wrong titties. Y'all worried about the wrong titties. To be worrying about your titties,
You
getting
shouldn't be
right.
having them
You know what I'm
titties.
saying? Getting them right, getting muscular, stuff of that nature, getting rid of that fat, eating right, going to the gym, creating habit, so you could achieve your goals. Build a goal for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So you could do that. But
And
y'all worried about the wrong titties. And
and
that's
then they won't need the OnlyFans membership.
yeah.
Okay?
They might meet a girl at the gym.
You see how you fix all that?
Yeah. So our final thoughts. Is it harder for a man to control their desires or a woman to control their emotions? What is the problem, if there is one, and what is the solution?
I mean, I think I already answered the question. I do think it's hard for men to control their desires, but it's definitely harder for women to control her emotions. And that is a problem because like you stated up on top with that article, you know, if a woman is constantly getting angry or in her feelings, she's not gonna be able to use her logic and her reasoning behind things. She's just gonna go off on emotions. She's gonna act, instinctively, blah blah, instinctively, and then when there's a consequence, she didn't see beyond her emotions. Now what? You know what I mean? Like if you don't stop and think beforehand, and you're like, "Fuck it, I don't give a fuck," and you just want to go and get crazy and act reckless. What happens now with whatever happened after you acted out? Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Okay, that's why it's a problem.
So
And
what's the solution?
the solution is to, I'm always going to go back to it, is to work on yourself, work on your triggers, find out why you got like this, and be with yourself for a while. That's what I think.
Wow, yeah, that was pretty good.
Thank you very much.
I agree with that because of the pair bond thing. If you keep like rebounding and rebounding, it doesn't allow you to get over the last relationship and even know yourself because you build an identity there. Um, heal. Most women just want to pick up where they left off.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair to the new person. And they can't pick up on it. And maybe they can pick up on it. Like I've been with women that I was picking up on it and I let them identify, oh wow, I didn't know I was doing that.
Mm. and
So
and even that, like telling a woman, or that you're doing that, if she's still in her ego, she might fight you on that. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? Like that's where I mean, you got to know yourself, and you got to separate your ego from your true self. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, is it harder for men to control their desires or women to control their emotions? Um, So we said what we thought. Now, the thing is, men should always be gentlemen. Behind closed doors, it depends on your dynamic and your agreement, like an invisible contract, verbal, whatever, whenever, wherever, however. He doesn't need to ask for the box. He's taking it because it's his. And she's incongruent with that.
Mm,
So it's not viewed as grape or anything like that.
mm,
But men shouldn't just go out there and be like, oh, she looks good. I'm at the club. Let me grape her. Let me in the street and stuff of that nature.
right.
Should always be men. I'm not saying you have to protect every woman. Just protect your woman.
Mm-hmm.
But control your desires. You know what I'm saying? Always be a gentleman. Control your desires. Um, Women should control their emotions. These are two things that is a problem that
Yes.
if we do not. So the way women are going to control their emotions is by having either a group of women or their man specifically, because a lot of women today won't listen to a group of men. You know what I'm saying? Because they're unhealed. They just think, oh, they're after their own personal agenda. They're just saying what they want to say because they want to make themselves look good. Misogyny, 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 right? Instead of looking in depth and being healed. So they're not going to do it. The best thing is for more women to mold into this divine feminine, this queen status, and start leading women, helping women control their emotions. Women are very powerful. Sometimes shut up. Shut up. That is your power as a woman. Shut the fuck up. Because your words can hurt. The more women are in tune with spirituality than men. It can elevate the king in him if she knows how to speak to him. So sometimes she got to shut up.
Yeah.
But a lot of women don't know how to do that. They come from trauma, generational curses, all that nature. Could be a race, tradition, whatever.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's all about knowing yourself. Stop the ego. Stop being stubborn, because all of this stuff is even sins. Even in the Bible. Even in the Bible. And I'm not here to preach. I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm a saint and all that. No. But even in the Bible, it's a sin.
Mm,
So when these women don't act accordingly, you know what I'm saying? They're putting themselves at risk and the opposing person and the situation.
yeah.
Feminine women don't know how to be logical. They're dependent upon the masculine. So it's the masculine's role to lead the feminine. To tell the feminine sometimes, shut up. Because how you're talking right now doesn't sound logical. You're being emotional. And that is going to lead you to making bad decisions. That's why I always say the woman shouldn't lead the household. The man should. That's a path to disaster. Look at it, yo. And I don't give a fuck. I'll mention names. Jada Pickett, Gabrielle Union. Those two alpha females or feminists, and I don't care. It's a different season. I told everybody we're gonna turn up.
We dropping
They
names
need
now?
they need to be held accountable. So people can learn, for women can learn from their mistakes. Those women were in charge of their household and they didn't have a problem going public and saying it. What happened? Their household on a path to destruction. And that's evident, that's proof. So the reality is the woman being in charge of the household is a path to failure. It's built for a man to lead. It's in his nature. He shouldn't be submissive and passive and just be letting the women run. That's on a path to disaster. And if the kids also see it, because I also said that, it will fuck up the kids too. Because they're not seeing an authoritative figure there. Like, who's the boss?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They're not seeing an authoritative figure there. So that leads them to even go out into the world and be confused. Now they're seeking other things for acceptance
Yeah. That's true.
because there's no type of dynamic and structure there. You see what I'm saying? So the reality is men always have to control their desires, but they don't have to be quiet about it. They can articulate it.
Yeah.
They can control it, but it's like, listen, baby, I would really like for you to be more submissive. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing all this stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, compromise a little bit. Even if it's sometimes or whatever, it's all about communication.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? And then the woman controls her emotion. You know what? I'm sorry. That's a problem for a lot of women to say. Sorry. They always think they're right. The unhealed women, generational curses, women. You understand what I'm saying? That's hard for them to do because they always think they're right, but they'll always get a pass from men for being emotional. Oh, but they're women though. They're sensitive. They're emotional. They can get away with it, but men can't, right? Because men are always held to a higher standard, societal and family and nation. So we can't complain. We just gotta take it. Women can, but the actuality, women are always second in command. So that means the lieutenant has a prominent position and a potent role. They have a lot of power. They can cultivate a lot of things. Their power is being a nurturer. You buy a house, they make it to a home. You buy groceries, they make dinner. You maybe, you're a confident man, but it's like something happened and it made you kind of jump off track and you kind of feel the type of way. And that woman is like, hey, don't sweat it. She motivates. Don't forget what you did. You've done a lot of things a lot of men can't do. Don't forget who you are. You a king.
That's so
that
important.
woman motivates him. And now he's like, yo, shit, yo, she right. I did a lot of things that a lot of people get self-taught, probably. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anybody like this. I never met a man like me. And now she reminds you of the king that you are. That's her power. But what is she doing? If she's tearing down the man, that's detrimental even to her relationship. So sometimes when women get emotional, I'm not saying they can't get emotional. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. They're feminine. When they get emotional, they need to step back. Think logically. Let me not say something. Let me do this. I need time to calm down. You were saying in a show prior, like seasons past, we were talking about healthy conversations and stuff like that, acceptance and understanding. You said, "Oh, I might need some time." If that's cool with him or whatever, yo, take some time or whatever. But we're gonna talk about this. You might need some time to cool down because you're emotional right now. You don't want to say something that you're gonna regret. You actually also respect him. So you don't want to say something that you know what I'm saying, because you respect the guy, you hold him in high regard. So that's the solution to the problem. Women having more emotional intelligence, men holding them accountable to have this, men leading them, and men articulating their desires. Yes, you have to control it because we're not in the caveman era. Women need to feel comfortable around us. They need to be able to walk down the street and know that man on the other side is not going to come over here and do something. They need to be able to feel safe, especially around the opposite sex. They're the weaker sex. But at the end of the day, the man should articulate. That's why a lot of cheating happens.
Nobody talks about nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's also important not only in like a romantic relationship, but as parents not to talk down to your children. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to uplift them because that's the first things that, we hear is our parents from little before we go to school. You know what I mean? And then that's who is the constant. So if you're constantly hearing you ain't shit or you just a troublemaker, guess what? You gonna turn around and not be shit.
Yeah, because you're putting that into the universe.
Exactly.
Some of those people don't ever identify that. It's a generational curse. Like I said, they don't ever identify it. Why? Because I say it's a generational curse. It has happened before. Maybe that parent or parents who are degrading those children have had the same thing done to them.
Yeah. They don't know any better. That's what they know.
So it's subconscious that they might say in their mind, "Oh, I'm never going to treat my kids like that." And then they do. So it's like this is all I always say. This is like an evil spirit. I always say this shit. And I'm not talking about church. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about spirit, spirituality. Because just because somebody goes to church or they're religious don't mean they're spiritual. Remember, we're spirits in flesh. This is borrowed body, just like borrowed time. We're not going to be here forever. This is borrowed body. So I could have an ancient Egyptian spirit in me. That my old spirit could have died when I was 19 or something, or 21. I've elevated. And I've been able to elevate because I wasn't accumulating bodies like that. So it allowed me to, protect my energy. So I'm protecting my gift, honing in on these skills. You know what I'm saying? It could be Superman under Clark Kent. You'll never know. It's spirit in flesh. I'm talking about spirit. So a lot of this stuff is evil spirit. That's why it occurs.
I agree with you with that.
It's evil. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people can't identify that. It's all about identify. That's the key to accountability. We have an episode like that. But that's the key. Identify first. Remember when they go to AA meetings, anger
Mm-hmm.
management and stuff of that nature? They always sit in the class. What's the first thing they talk about or ask? What is your problem? They want you to admit it because that's the part of letting that ego and that pride,
Mm-hmm.
throw that shit in the garbage as you enter
Accountability.
here.
Yep.
What's the problem? You identify the problem and you know that you have a problem. Now the second thing is, well, what's the solution to the problem? Do you want to elevate or not? Yes, I want to
Mm-hmm.
elevate. So how are you going to?
Right. They make you think about how to change
And
it.
what are the necessary steps?
Mm-hmm.
Just like when I do coaching and I have
Mm-hmm.
my clients, what are you going to do to hold yourself accountable? What are the necessary steps you're going to take to achieve those goals? Because we could say anything we want all day and you could tell me whatever I want to hear. But what are you doing?
Right. How is that gonna help you? Or not you, them.
What are you doing? So that's the solution to the problem. Clearly, there's a problem here
Mm.
with the genders. But what's the solution? Control. What's the solution? Knowing yourself. What's the solution? Healing. What's your solution? Incorporating discipline. That's
Emotional
very hard
intelligence.
because all of those things mean putting your pride and your ego aside.
And working on yourself too.
And it's hard to do that.
Yep.
It's hard to do that.
Yeah, because that's you're stepping out of your comfort zone. People don't like that. We said it in this show also. People stay where they're comfortable.
Yeah. And it's
So,
easier said than done,
ugh,
but it comes in steps.
yeah,
For
it can be done.
the number one thing to do, because remember, if you're trying, you're better than the person who isn't.
Yeah.
The number one thing, the start, you don't have to go on a whole journey right away. The start is to identify. Because a lot of people are in denial. They don't think they have an issue. The start is identifying you have a problem.
How do
Then
they do
you
that if they don't really see it?
no, people know. People
They
know.
do.
They
Right?
do.
They do. I
You know what
agree.
I'm
I
saying?
agree.
They do. So recognizing this, and you know what's crazy? A lot of other people probably told them the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. Yo, you got a
Mm-hmm.
problem. You're always
An
doing this.
ex or something, a friend. Yep.
Hmm.
I agree.
So they're gonna know.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, right? A woman could be out there watching or listening to this. She's like, yo, this dude is crazy. But if if I'm a stranger and I'm telling her what her husband or her man is telling her, yo, she's a problem
Yeah.
because I'm a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm touching her soul and I don't know. But I'm a stranger. And now that dude, and they're both watching the show, and he's like, see, I told you. I told you. And she's looking at him like, oh, yeah?
Motherfucker.
He's like, I told you. See, other dudes think like this. You see?
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like
so funny.
it's identifying the problem, not being delusional, because that's part of the healing journey too.
Yeah. That's like you said, that's the first step.
Yeah.
That's the most important one.
Yeah. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into one of the most raw, uncut, unapologetic, real podcast, the Discipline Therapy Podcast. Peace.